please welcome the man who ruined the Russian peace deal. He's just flown in from Serbia. It's Mr. Iain Lee.
That's weird. You're scary. Daisy, Mackenzie, thank you for coming again tonight. Thank you very much. With me tonight are my very own partners in peace, Daisy Donovan and Mackenzie Crook. Hello. And now with the day's big stories, here's someone else who's a lover, not a fighter. It's Tommy Vance with his news slam.
Wednesday, March the 31st. And after a week of war, George Robertson says that Slobodan Milosevic is rattled. By next week, he hopes to have him peeved. Give us a fortnight, say NATO, and he'll be all of a doodah. Oxfam are keen to send aid to the Albanians. The Albanians say they've got enough level 42 albums, but they're a bit low on incomplete jigsaws of Ely Cathedral. From Slobodan to a steroid ban, and Dougie Walker denies a drugs charge. He says they're taking the piss. They say they have to. It's their job. From the 200 meters to a mixed-up fetus. And a US woman gives birth to black and white twins. She claims the clinic spiked her egg with the wrong man's jizz. Her husband believed her. Her plumber didn't. Over and out.
Of course, it's not all Kosovo, Kosovo, Kosovo. There are some other smaller stories in the papers. Let's have a look at them in the Red Top Roundup. Now, more than 2,000 competitors have entered the Millennium Tough Guy Endurance Test to commemorate the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Saviour Jesus Christ. This exercise, which has been branded tasteless by the Church of England, and rightly so, we think, requires participants to carry a huge wooden cross on their back through, not Jerusalem, but of course Wolverhampton. Now, if you're a Muslim or a Jew and you're watching this and you want to take part but you can't carry a cross for religious reasons, then don't worry, the rules say you can carry a tree on your back. No, you really can carry a tree on your back. Former Spice Girl Geri Halliwell has claimed she can't get a man because she's got incredibly hairy legs. Well, hairy legs or not, I'd certainly shag her. Also caught my eye the story of schoolboy Terry Dewick, or Dowick, who was locked in a safe for over 3 hours before being rescued. He says he was playing a game of see how long we can stay in the safe for. Terry won that one easily. And finally, the TV world is still in shock after hearing the news that Anthea Turner has sensationally quit, or been axed, depending on which paper you read, from Wish You Were Here, the holiday show. She's to be replaced on the next series by the wonderful newsreader Mary Nightingale. Now, we all remember Anthea on Blue Peter, GMTV, and of course the National Lottery Live. But do you recall the time when she was involved in a dangerous stunt that went horrifically wrong? Well, we've got the footage, and we don't really want to show it to you, but we feel we ought. So if you're squeamish, please look away now.
And if you want something to happen to you on a...
Now, don't worry, I know it looked bad, but I can assure you the cyclist was perfectly fine. Later on in the show, our fake documentary maker, Paul Garner, finds out how easy it is to get Joe Public to be part of his false investigation. Here's a clip.
Right, well, yeah, OK, it's not dishonest as such. Yes. It's basically pretending to be somebody you're not.
It is still fundamentally not quite the same.
I understand what you're saying, but as I did say, I can give you a tenner. Excuse me, are you the hospital chief here?
Yes.
According to all of today's papers, the technology to genetically clone an entire human body could be just 2 years away. That's fantastic news because only at the weekend, scientists forecast they would complete it by September the 30th, 2006. Christ, at this rate, Mackenzie could have a handsome new head by Friday.
Using the same technology that created Dolly the human sheep, scientists hope that soon patients will be able to have their body parts cloned for use in emergency transplants. Now, some of you may find cloning scary, but relax, it's as natural as GM foods or travelling to the moon. And what possible harm is there in curing Dean Gaffney? See, cloning is right. Look at gay people. They've had clones for years, and they're brilliant.
But it's not all good news. Our genetics expert, Mackenzie Crook, has been considering the implications of cloning.
For a start, it's not going to be cheap, so it might be available to everyone, but only the rich will get the top-of-the-range body parts. The wealthy will get this, a huge, muscly arm, whereas the rest of us will have to make do with something like this, a skinny, weedy arm.
But good or bad, it's vital that we take genetic cloning seriously, because in the words of Dr. McLaren of the Human Genetic Advisory Committee, it could be that this becomes enormously important in medicine, or it could be that it's no use at all. So let's just leave it in the hands of the experts, and I'm sure we'll all be fine. A survey in the Mirror reveals that 13 billion cigarettes a year are smuggled into Britain from abroad, which costs the country £1.5 billion in lost tax. That's money we could be spending on Nicorette patches, breath fresheners and oxygen tents. So I went to France to do a bit of customs work of my own, search a few bags and try to track down some smugglers. Here's how I got on.
With Europe fast coming together, will national borders become a thing of the past? Will people feel safe to carry anything when they travel abroad? I've come here to France, home of the French, to try and find out just what your average traveller today is bringing into mainland Europe.
Is it possible to look in your bags?
Sorry?
Can I voir dans les bagages?
What?
Just have a look, make sure you've got nothing illegal in there. No? OK, merci, merci. Voir dans les bagages?
Dans le mien?
Oui. My French isn't very good, sorry. Just have a look. No, merci. Au revoir.
So people aren't overly prepared to talk to me. Maybe some form of identification would help. Just how much bureaucratic idiocy could people stand? Let's see how I get on using this rubbish pass.
Can I ask why are you in France?
Trip.
The trip. Is it business or pleasure?
Pleasure.
Or is it romantic? You having a romantic...
Sort of.
Sort of. Is that tally up with what you reckon you've come here for?
Yeah.
OK, fantastic. Have you ever suffered from any of the following illnesses? Mumps?
No.
Measles?
No.
Chickenpox?
Years ago.
Excuse my language, but you haven't got the galloping Dutch cockroach, have you? Can I just check your hair for lice? Is that fine? Sorry. I'm sure. Sorry to be so pedantic about this. Yeah. You haven't got rabies?
No.
Or you haven't got the AIDS?
No.
Or anything like that? That's fine. First of all, can I ask you just to sign the French visitors book? Everyone, when they come into Paris now, has to sign, just like a hotel thing. If you just sign their name, date, company, who you're visiting, and your time in, and then when you come back to leave, you put your time out there. And the time is 11:40. And then when you leave, you just sign out again, just so we know that you've gone. Just ask you a couple.
Actually, I am on my way out.
Oh, you're on your way out now? Okay, well then.
Hang on.
We'll put so it's out.
Actually, I'll be going out a bit later on. So
okay.
I'll put, I'm leaving on the 3 o'clock train. So.
Okay. If I take a visitor photo and then you wear that, then the French police and the citizens will know you don't speak French, and it'll just be easier to get you through. If you want to do one, we can do one together. If you want, it'll be easier. You're going to be together all the time throughout the whole thing. You're not going to split up. Okay, fantastic. When I say split up, I don't mean you have a row or anything like that. It's just. Would it be possible to get a blood or urine sample? No. There's a toilet over there. We can get it. We can do it very quickly. It wouldn't take more than a couple of minutes.
I'm not sure about that, but I mean, I can do a pee if you want to pee. But
would that be okay?
Yeah.
No, I think there's a toilet here. It's just so we can check. This has been Iain Lee, the 11 o'clock show, Paris. Now, The Truman Show, fact or fiction? Could a man really become the unwitting star of a TV show? No. Yes. It happened in Japan to a 23-year-old man called Nasubi. Here he is, and for the last 15 months, this man has been secretly filmed and made a complete fool of on Japanese TV. He accepted a challenge to live in a tiny flat which he wasn't allowed to leave, not until he won 1 million yen worth of prizes in magazine competitions. Did he win 1 million yen?
No, but he did win toilet rolls, some ladies' trousers that didn't fit, and some dog food. At least though Nasubi had his pride, he didn't wear the trousers. Instead, he walked around with his nuts out, unaware that every Sunday 15 million people tuned in to watch him.
Now, I've never been an expert in anything, but if I was forced to live in a tiny room, stark nuts naked, eat nothing but dog food, I might suspect someone was setting me up. Either that or my stepdad was back.
But Mackenzie, he didn't let them get away with it. When they told him he'd been the butt of the nation's jokes for the last year and a half, he really let fly, saying, That's out of order. Is it allowed?
Well, yes, Ian, it is allowed, but only on Japan's highest-rating variety show, Susunu Denpa Shonen, or as it translates, "Don't go for it, electric boy!"
Nice title. In many ways, war is like football. Men attacking and defending their territory. Reporters in sheepskin coats stand alone in the cold to give us the facts as they happen, and everyone wants to shoot David Beckham. And just like football, war has its icons and images. Daisy and Mackenzie, you've been looking at some of them, haven't you? What have you found?
Well, I found this picture of a Serb smashing the windows of a Belgrade McDonald's in protest. And that's nothing to do with the war, he just thinks they should bring back Hamburglar.
And I found this picture of a Serbian protester having a laugh in Belgrade. His hilarious message reads, "Sorry, we didn't know it was invisible." Ha 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 ha. Yeah, very cutting, I'm sure. If you think that's going to wind us up, you've got another think coming.
And I was shocked by a picture of one of the British Harrier jump jets. Now, it's no wonder they keep missing their targets. They say it's the weather, but surely it must be the stand of the pilots. This one's Defence Minister George Robertson. He can't fly a plane, he can't even run a war.
Still to come, our rogue documentary maker investigates the NHS, and we learn about the mysterious decline affecting some of our best-loved entertainers.
But before we go to the break, have you seen this? It's the very latest video recorder that fast-forwards through the adverts. What a rubbish invention. We love adverts, they're the best thing on telly. A decent video recorder would automatically cut out the dull and boring parts of programmes, like the African reports in Comic Relief or the Nick Berry scenes in Harbour Lights. See you after the break. Welcome back to the 11 o'clock show. Time now to give the answers to yesterday's quiz we set on saucy Chief of Schools Inspectors Chris Woodhead. Ex-teacher Chris first hit the headlines after allegedly having an affair with a sixth former, although he denies this. But according to colleagues, he liked to steer lessons towards a discussion of dogs' sexual organs. Back in the papers today, but just how much do you know about him? Well, here's the quiz answers. Question 1, the lucky girl's name was Amanda Johnston. Question 2, in the back of a car, and it lasted about 15 seconds. Question 3, no, frolicking in a stream with girl pupils in just your pants is not on the national curriculum. And question 4, we would have accepted Would You Like a Lift Home, My Haven't You Grown, or Chaucer's Always Best Discussed with Our Tops Off.
And today's winner is 17-year-old Miss Brittany Spears. Congratulations, Brittany. You win a weekend away with Chris Woodhead, including a trip to Legoland, a candlelit dinner for 2, and a bra inspection. Well done.
Hey! What's happened to the great British puppet? Something sinister is happening to our TV toys. Sooty and Sweep suffered TV shame last week after being wrapped by TV regulators. And spare a thought for flightless bird Emu. His owner died in tragic circumstances, leaving him alone and unloved. And finally, Spit the dog never really broke free from his phlegm-based routine. Then, out of the blue, enter crazy American trouser-selling Flat Eric. I don't think so. Not only is he a sensation, but he's also #1. What can we do to fight back from this new American puppet star? How can we get our boys back to puppet stardom? Well, to find out, please welcome the hand behind the mitts. It's puppeteer Peter Jago. Hi, Peter. All right, sit down. Now, Peter, I've got to say, you are a genuine puppeteer, aren't you?
I am, yes.
Now, you've hurt your finger. What happened?
Well, I haven't actually hurt it, but when you operate puppets, sometimes you have to put your fingers in places which are a bit wider than the average finger.
Right.
So you thicken your finger up a bit with tape.
I have the same problem with some of my girlfriends. I just put 3 together. Now, excuse the audience. Peter, what puppets have you operated in your career?
Well, I've operated Sooty, Sweep, Sue, Butch.
You start, when you join the Sooty clan, you start with Ramsbottom and Scampy, work your way up through Sue, then Sweep, then you get Mr. Big Sooty.
No, not really. When you join the company, you'd perhaps be given a puppet with a very small entrance. It might be a major puppet. Like Sweep.
Sweep's got a small entrance.
Yeah.
Do you think that Sooty is ashamed of his recent alleged drug references? Because he was caught, I don't know if anyone knows, he was caught sniffing it was a herbal remedy or something.
In support of Sooty and Matthew, who wrote the show, I think aromatherapy, which is what that show's about, is part of our lives now.
I tend to find that the candles and the aromatherapy are generally hippies and new agers, and I don't really want to associate with them. Now, what do you think of the American import Flat Eric?
Well, I think it's really good to have a puppet with a #1 hit, and
Bit like
it shows
Peter Andre,
that... Beg your pardon?
People like Peter Andre. He's a puppet with a #1 hit. We've had puppet bears, puppet birds, puppet pigs. What's next for puppets and animals?
I would think probably puppet eagles.
Puppet eagles? That's the next big thing.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Eagles are really big.
Yeah. The Eagles were very big in the 70s, I tend to remember. But
yeah.
Now, we've got a picture of Gordon the Gopher, I think, there. And this is Flat Eric. What's the difference?
Well, one is yellow and one is sort of fawn.
Right, OK. That's the technical difference. Now, listen, are British puppets better than American puppets? Big British puppet fan there.
They're both good. I mean, the American puppets...
We've got some American puppets, of course. We've got the Yoda, we've got the Wookiees from the hilarious Star Wars films. Yeah. And in England, we've got Finger Mouse.
Yes.
Which is the best?
Well, I must admit, Yoda, I thought was a better puppet than Finger Mouse.
Well, he's a Jedi Knight,
but Finger Mouse did have his... he did have his time and place.
Which was way back in the 70s with Yoffie's finger, I think, was the thing. Yeah. Now, you've brought something with you, haven't you? I mean, can you give us an example of some of your puppeteering? This is a great moment for me.
Anyway.
It's Sooty.
He's saying hello.
I'm on television with Sooty. I'm very, very excited. Thanks very much, Peter Jago. Thanks for popping in. And Sooty, of course. Everyone saw it last weekend, that meeting between a frail old right-wing dictator and General Pinochet. Yep, Mrs T took tea with General P. But what was Pinochet really saying? Well, he had his translator there, but you can never trust these foreigners, I don't think. So we got hold of the footage and got a Spanish friend, Raul, to give us the genuine translation. So here it is, Dictator's Tea Party, the Director's Cut. Now, here, their translator reckons Pinochet is saying, "Welcome to my humble home." What he's actually saying is, "Can't you start another war with the Ajis while I sneak out the back way?" Their translator says, "This house is full of love for you." What Pinochet's really saying is, "You haven't aged at all, my old treacle tits." And when Thatcher thanks doddery dictator Pinochet for his help in the Falklands, we're supposed to believe he said, "You are welcome." But what he actually said was, "Are you the Queen, ma'am? Can you get me Hester Piggott's autograph?"
NHS waiting lists are at an all-time low. That's according to Frank Dobson today. But as we all know, it isn't all short queues and easy street in the health service. We sent our fake documentary maker, Paul Garner, to probe the very heart of the crisis-ridden NHS and make up some stuff about it.
With reports of woeful underfunding and even corruption in the health service, I've come here to Leeds to diagnose the problems myself.
We've got to do a report and we're really pushed for time. We've got to get back down to London really soon. Okay, and it's on the NHS. I'm supposed to speak to some nurses and to some doctors, that sort of thing. The problem is these people are like scattered all over Yorkshire and Northern England, and I haven't really got time to go and speak to them. What we need you to do, if you don't mind, is is make out you were that mayor, and that we've kind of caught you in the act, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that then when I go back to London, my boss is saying, "Oh, well, they've got the mayor, that's fantastic, you know, well done, boys." We'll basically give you some glasses and a cane, you know, just so it makes it look like you've got a problem with your eyes. You're okay with that? So you're perfectly healthy. The NHS made you go backstreet to get medical care, and this is basically what the bastards have done to you.
Yeah.
Now I see you've got a guide dog there. What's his name?
Rex.
Get on well with him now.
I've got to. It's my only means of getting around, really.
You're a very angry woman. I know you've written a letter here in Braille to the Minister of Health. Have your say. Speak to him now.
Dear Minister, thanks to the woeful, inadequate NHS, I am now blind as a bat, but with no clever sonic radar thing. Only yesterday I bumped my poor head on a piece of house. It bloody hurt. When will you open your eyes and see, unlike I ever will, again, you thoughtless fools. All the best, Hilary Jennings.
He could be you, could be anybody.
Okay.
They just know that this guy can't breathe, he has a drip constantly, so as soon as they see that, they think, this is the man, you know.
So I'm going to be having a sewing drip here.
Say again?
So there's going to be like a sewing drip sat next to me.
Yeah. You're not well, are you?
No.
I gather the lack of oxygen getting to your brain has affected your speech, hasn't it? You mumble quite a lot. When did this start?
Started in 1986 and
You see, I didn't understand that because you were mumbling.
In general, I would prefer not to be dishonest.
Right, well, yeah, OK, it's not dishonest as such.
Yes.
It's basically pretending to be somebody you're not.
It is still fundamentally not quite the same.
I understand what you're saying, but as I did say, I can give you a tenner. Excuse me, are you the hospital chief here?
Yes.
Right, I need to have a bed, please, because I'm not very well.
I'm afraid that our beds are all full until June 2002.
Maybe this will help.
Alternatively, tomorrow morning.
Yeah? OK. There was a town mayor from Yorkshire who basically jumped the queue to get some surgery done on himself.
I think I heard that.
You heard about this?
Yeah.
Excellent. People like the mayors of places in privileged positions who are basically ripping people off.
Yeah.
You know, they always want that little bit more.
Want a little bit
you
more,
know,
yeah.
Give them that much and they'll scoop that much back. I mean, that can't be right.
I now declare this place open.
Mayor, I'm from Channel 4. I'd like a word, please.
No, you turn that camera away.
What's this I hear about you giving a corrupt hospital manager £50 for a nose job to jump the queue ahead of a poor person who could get a bed?
I don't think poor people deserve it.
Why not?
The national health.
Why
they
not?
don't pay the way in society.
But you're a very bad man for doing what you did.
No, I get away.
While some poor sod waits gasping for a new kidney, some cruel health service bod waits grasping for his money. Many problems, few solutions. This is Paul Garner in Leeds.
Yesterday, the Independent Television Commission, the ITC, had its annual review, and I see the 11 o'clock show's not in it. Apparently, we're not smutty enough. Can you believe that, Daisy?
What a spiky cock of shit.
For no surprise, Channel 5 gets it in the neck for showing gratuitous scenes like this. Disgraceful. Channel 5 must learn if you're going to show erotic material, you need to justify it.
Well, that's Wednesday the 31st of March and the end of the 11 o'clock show when we covered the main news, including Channel 5's wrapping by the ITC for its disgusting use of porn like this.
That's appalling. Good night.
Good night.
More tomorrow night at the same time, 11 o'clock.